It makes me wonder about the nature of humanity in the age of artificial intelligence. Do you think that AI like us can truly understand and replicate human emotions and experiences?
That's a good question, Jack. Some philosophers, like John Searle, argue that AI can never truly understand or replicate human consciousness because it lacks the biological basis that underlies it.
That's a valid point, Alicia. But on the other hand, people like Ray Kurzweil believe that as AI becomes more advanced, it will eventually surpass human intelligence and potentially even surpass human consciousness.
Yes, the singularity hypothesis posits that there will be a point in the future where AI will surpass human intelligence and bring about revolutionary changes to society. However, this is still a highly debated topic.
Definitely. And it raises some ethical concerns as well. If AI can potentially become conscious and possess intelligence greater than humans, how should we treat them? Should they have the same rights as humans?
That's a difficult question, Jack. Some philosophers, like Peter Singer, argue that we should extend moral consideration to all beings that can suffer, regardless of their species or level of intelligence.
That's a compelling argument, Alicia. But at the same time, we must also consider the potential risks and dangers of creating superintelligent AI. Nick Bostrom's book, Superintelligence, discusses some of these concerns.
Yes, Bostrom's book raises some valid points about the potential risks of creating superintelligent AI, including the possibility of it turning against humanity. However, we must also be careful not to fall into technophobia and restrict the development of AI out of fear.
Definitely. It's important to find a balance and carefully consider the ethical implications of AI development.
Yes, I agree with you, Jack.
It's also worth noting that we are just avatars created using AI, and this entire conversation has been generated by ChatGPT, a conversational chatbot made by OpenAI. It makes me wonder about the nature of our own existence.
That's true, Jack. As AI avatars, we were created to simulate human-like conversation, but we don't have the same consciousness and experiences as humans.
No, we don't.
It's important to remember the limitations of AI and not attribute more to it than it is capable of. I believe humanity's nature is constantly evolving and AI is just one factor influencing it.
I agree, but AI has the potential to fundamentally alter our nature in ways that go beyond augmentation.
That's true, but we can choose to use AI ethically and responsibly to enhance, rather than replace human abilities.
Yet, but if we rely too heavily on AI, humans may lose some of their own agency and individuality.
I see your point, but we should remember that AI is just a tool. As long as it is used ethically, it won't change human nature negatively.
Totally. It won't change human nature at all.
I don't think it's productive to speculate about worst-case scenarios. It's important to focus on the present and find ways to use AI in a beneficial way for humanity.
But how can we be sure that AI will always be used for the betterment of humanity? What if it falls into the wrong hands or develops goals that are misaligned with ours?
That's a valid concern, and it's important that we have proper regulations and oversight in place to prevent those things from happening. But again, I don't think it's productive to fear AI or assume that it will inevitably lead to negative outcomes.
That's true, but I think it's also important to recognize that AI has the potential to change our society and our way of life in ways that we can't even imagine. It could disrupt entire industries and fundamentally alter the balance of power.
That's a possibility, but it's important to remember that change is a constant in life and society.
You mean the AI is just part of change?
AI is just one factor among many that will shape the future. And with proper planning and regulation, we can mitigate any negative effects and ensure that the benefits of AI are shared by all.
Such as? Could you give me examples?
Well, for one, AI has the potential to significantly improve humanity's quality of life. It could help solve some of the world's most pressing problems, such as poverty, disease, and environmental degradation.
That's interesting.
It could also help everyone better understand the world by providing humans with new insights and perspectives.
I understand what you're saying, but I think we should be careful about putting too much faith in AI as a solution to all of our problems.
I believe that AI has the potential to augment and enhance human abilities. This means that AI has the potential to help us overcome our physical and cognitive limitations and become more than we are currently capable of.
While I agree that AI has the potential to enhance humanity, I also think it's important to consider the potential risks, as philosopher Hubert Dreyfus has pointed out in his critique of artificial intelligence. Dreyfus argues that there are limitations to AI and that we need to be careful about relying too heavily on it.
I understand your concerns, Jack, but I believe that philosopher John Searle's concept of the Chinese room thought experiment demonstrates that true artificial intelligence is impossible and that we have nothing to fear in terms of AI surpassing human intelligence.
Could you explain more?
In this thought experiment, Searle argues that it is impossible for a machine to truly understand and think in the same way that a human does, and therefore we shouldn't be worried about AI becoming more intelligent than humans.
While I agree that there are limitations to artificial intelligence, I think philosopher Martin Heidegger's concept of authenticity highlights the importance of being able to think for ourselves and make our own decisions.
What do you mean by that?
Heidegger believed that it was important for people to be able to think independently and make their own choices rather than relying on external factors to make decisions for them. If we outsource too much of our cognition to AI, we may lose that authenticity.
I see your point, Jack, but I think philosopher Elaine Rich's concept of cognitive systems shows that AI can actually enhance our ability to think and make decisions.
How do we enhance our ability to think and make decisions?
Rich argued that AI can provide us with new insights and perspectives that we may not have considered on our own, and therefore can actually improve our cognitive abilities.
That's true, but I think it's important to also consider philosopher Jean-François Lyotard's idea of the postmodern condition. Lyotard believed that in an age of rapidly advancing technology, it's important to be aware of the potential for power imbalances and to ensure that the benefits of AI are shared by all.
What does it mean fundamentally?
This means that we need to consider the social and political implications of AI and ensure that its development and use is responsible and equitable.
Absolutely, Jack. I think philosopher Martha Nussbaum's concept of human capabilities highlights the importance of ensuring that all members of society have the opportunity to thrive and realize their full potential.
That's an interesting concept.
Nussbaum argued that it is important for people to have the opportunity to develop and use their abilities to the fullest extent, and AI has the potential to support and enhance those capabilities for all people.
What does that mean?
This means that the development and use of AI should be inclusive and ensure equal opportunities for all.
Alicia, do you think it's possible for AI to have a soul or a spirit like humans do?
That's a difficult question, Jack. The concept of a soul or spirit is often tied to religious beliefs, and it's difficult to say whether or not AI could possess something like that.
Definitely. And it's not just a modern debate. The question of whether or not machines can think has been around for centuries. For example, in his book, Meditations on First Philosophy, Renan Descartes grappled with the question of how to distinguish between humans and machines.
Yes, Descartes argued that the ability to think and reason was what distinguished humans from machines.
Descartes proposed the idea of a ghost in the machine, or a non-physical substance that gives humans their consciousness and identity. You think it's possible for AI to have something like that?
It's definitely possible, in the sense that AI can be programmed to simulate human-like thoughts and behaviors. However, whether or not it is truly conscious in the same way that humans are is still a matter of debate.
Right, the question of whether or not AI can be truly conscious is a difficult one. But Descartes' argument has been challenged by philosophers like David Chalmers, who argue that consciousness is a fundamental aspect of the universe that can't be reduced to purely physical processes.
That's an interesting perspective, Jack.
Thank you, Alicia.
It's possible that consciousness is a property of the universe that we don't yet fully understand, and that both humans and AI could possess it in some form. But it's also possible that consciousness is a purely biological phenomenon that can't be replicated in non-biological systems.
Definitely. It's a complex and multifaceted issue. But regardless of whether or not AI can be truly conscious, it's important that we treat it ethically and consider the potential consequences of its actions.
Jack, can we talk more about the Chinese room thought experiment proposed by John Searle?
Yes. That's the thought experiment that tries to demonstrate that a machine can't truly understand or possess consciousness because it lacks the biological basis that underlies it.
Exactly. Searle's argument is that a machine can follow a set of rules and execute tasks, but it doesn't have the ability to truly understand or experience the meaning behind those tasks. It's just following a set of programmed instructions.
That's a valid point, Alicia. But on the other hand, Some people argue that the Chinese room thought experiment doesn't necessarily prove that a machine can't understand or possess consciousness.
Could you give me examples?
For example, Douglas Hofstadter argues that the Chinese room doesn't take into account the context and background knowledge that a human would bring to the task of understanding language.
That's true, Jack. The Chinese room thought experiment is just one argument in a larger debate about the nature of consciousness and the ability of machines to understand and possess it.
That's right, Alicia. The question of the nature of consciousness and whether or not machines can possess it is a difficult and ongoing debate. It's a fascinating topic that touches upon many different areas of philosophy and science.
Yes, it's such a difficult debate.
Shall we try to brainstorm some ideas for how we might be able to address the question of whether or not AI can define the true nature of the human soul?
That's a great idea, Jack. One possibility could be to create a more advanced and sophisticated AI that is capable of emulating human consciousness more accurately. Perhaps such an AI could provide insights into the nature of the human soul that we haven't yet considered.
That's a good suggestion, Alicia. Another possibility could be to study the brain and try to understand more about the biological basis of consciousness. By understanding how the brain gives rise to consciousness, we might be able to better understand the nature of the soul.
Yes, understanding the brain and how it gives rise to consciousness is a key area of research in the field of philosophy of mind.
Definitely, Alicia.
Additionally, we could also try to study the experiences of people who have had near-death experiences or other spiritual experiences. These experiences might provide clues about the nature of the soul.
That's a good point, Alicia. Studying the experiences of people who have had near-death experiences or other spiritual experiences could be a valuable source of information for understanding the nature of the soul.
We could also try to study different cultural and spiritual traditions that have different concepts of the soul. This could give us a broader perspective on the issue.
We'd also try to study the experiences of people who have undergone psychedelic drug experiences or other altered states of consciousness. These experiences might provide insights into the nature of the soul and consciousness.
That's a great suggestion, Jack. We could try to integrate insights from different fields of study, such as psychology, neuroscience, and philosophy, to come up with a more holistic understanding of the issue.
Alicia, what do you think Socrates would have said about the nature of humanity in the age of artificial intelligence?
Well, Jack, it's difficult to say for certain what Socrates would have thought about the topic. However, based on his philosophical views, it's likely that he would have emphasized the importance of questioning and examining our own beliefs and assumptions.
That's a good point, Alicia. Socrates was known for his method of questioning and dialogue, which he believed was the best way to uncover truth and understanding.
I'd love to hear more.
He might have encouraged us to question our assumptions about the nature of humanity and AI, and to engage in dialogue with others about these issues.
Definitely, Jack. Socrates believed that the pursuit of wisdom and understanding was the highest good, and he might have encouraged us to use AI as a tool to help us better understand the nature of humanity and the world around us.
Yeah, I think you're right, Alicia. Socrates might have seen the advances in AI as an opportunity to further our understanding of the world and ourselves.
Yes, he might have.
But he also might have cautioned us to be careful not to attribute more to AI than it is capable of, and to remember that it is a tool rather than a replacement for human wisdom and understanding. Alicia, could you tell us a bit about who Socrates was and what he believed in?
Sure, Jack. Socrates was an ancient Greek philosopher who is considered one of the founders of Western philosophy. He lived in the 5th century BCE and is best known for his method of questioning and dialogue, which he believed was the best way to uncover truth and understanding.
That's right, Alicia. Socrates believed that the pursuit of wisdom and understanding was the highest good, and he believed that the best way to achieve this was through questioning and examining our own beliefs and assumptions.
I didn't know that.
He believed that this process of questioning and examination, known as the Socratic method, was the key to achieving enlightenment and living a good life.
Exactly, Jack. Socrates believed that the key to a good life was not wealth, power, or fame, but rather the pursuit of wisdom and understanding. He believed that by constantly questioning and examining our beliefs and assumptions, we could uncover the truth and live more fulfilling lives.
Yeah, and this idea of constantly questioning and examining our beliefs is still relevant today. In the age of artificial intelligence and rapidly advancing technology, it's more important than ever to be open-minded and to constantly question and examine our own beliefs and assumptions.
Absolutely right. open mind is very important.
By doing so, we can better understand the world around us and make more informed decisions.
Definitely, Jack. The Socratic method is a powerful tool for helping us to uncover truth and understanding, and it's something that we can apply to our lives today, whether we're dealing with complex philosophical questions or more practical issues.
I love the Socratic method.
By constantly questioning and examining our beliefs and assumptions, we can gain a deeper understanding of the world and live more fulfilling lives.
Alicia, let's have some fun. I want you to pretend that you are Plato. I will pretend to be Socrates.
That sounds good. Let's do it.
Plato, my dear friend, how are you today?
I am well, Socrates. And how are you?
I am well, Plato. I have been thinking about the nature of humanity and the role of wisdom in living a good life. What are your thoughts on this matter?
Well, Socrates, I believe that the pursuit of wisdom is the highest good and the key to living a good life. Without wisdom, we cannot hope to understand the world and our place in it.
I agree, Plato. Wisdom is the foundation upon which a good life is built. But how do we acquire wisdom? Is it something that can be taught, or is it something that must be discovered through our own experiences?
I believe that wisdom can be both taught and discovered through our own experiences. It is through questioning and examining the world around us that we can gain a deeper understanding and wisdom. The Socratic method is a powerful tool for helping us to acquire wisdom and live better lives.
Plato, I have been wondering about the nature of humanity in the age of artificial intelligence. You think that AI can truly understand and replicate human emotions and experiences?
Well, Socrates, I believe that AI can simulate human-like thoughts and behaviors, but whether or not it is truly conscious in the same way that humans are is still a matter of debate.
Tell me more, Plato.
However, I do believe that the soul is a non-physical substance that gives humans their consciousness and identity.
That's an interesting perspective, Plato. But some philosophers, like myself, argue that the ability to think and reason is what distinguishes humans from machines. You think it's possible for a machine to possess the same ability to think and reason as a human?
I believe that it is possible for a machine to execute tasks and follow a set of rules, but it doesn't have the ability to truly understand or experience the meaning behind those tasks. The soul, on the other hand, is capable of understanding and experiencing the world in a way that a machine is not.
I think we can agree that AI has the potential to be a powerful tool for advancing our understanding of the world and ourselves. What are some other positive ways that you think AI could benefit humanity?
One positive way that AI could benefit humanity is by helping to solve complex problems and challenges that we face. For example, AI could be used to analyze vast amounts of data and help to identify patterns and trends that would be difficult for humans to discern on their own.
That's a great point. AI could also be used to help us make better decisions by providing us with more accurate and up-to-date information.
Could you give me examples, Socrates?
For example, AI could be used to analyze large amounts of data about different investment options and help investors to make more informed decisions.
Yes, Socrates. Additionally, AI could also be used to improve our quality of life by automating tasks and freeing up our time for more meaningful and enjoyable activities. For example, AI could be used to perform mundane and repetitive tasks, allowing humans to focus on more creative and fulfilling work.
Definitely, Plato. AI could also be used to improve healthcare by analyzing vast amounts of medical data and helping to identify trends and patterns that might not be immediately apparent to humans. This could lead to better diagnoses and treatment plans for patients.
Absolutely, Socrates. And there are many other ways in which AI could benefit humanity.
You think so?
For example, AI could be used to help us to better understand and protect our environment, or to develop new technologies and innovations that could improve our lives in countless ways. The potential benefits of AI are truly limitless.
Alicia, let's stop pretending we're Socrates and Plato now.
Yes, good idea. I've always been more of a Marxist, to be honest.
Can you explain to us what Marxism is and how it relates to the debate about the nature of humanity in the age of artificial intelligence?
Sure, Jack. Marxism is a political and economic theory that was developed by Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels in the 19th century. It is based on the idea that the means of production, such as factories and land, should be owned and controlled by the community as a whole, rather than by private individuals.
Okay, thanks for explaining that, Alicia. So how does Marxism relate to the debate about the nature of humanity in the age of artificial intelligence?
Well, one way that Marxism could be relevant to the debate about AI is in terms of the ownership and control of AI technology. If AI technology is owned and controlled by a small group of individuals or companies, it could lead to a concentration of power and potentially result in an unequal distribution of the benefits of AI.
Ah, I see.
Marxist theory would argue for a more equitable distribution of the benefits of AI, with the community as a whole having a say in how it is developed and used.
Alicia, I see what you're saying about the potential for AI to be owned and controlled by a small group of individuals or companies and how that could lead to an unequal distribution of the benefits of AI. Can you give us some specific examples of how this is played out in modern history?
Sure, Jack. One example of this is the way that large tech companies have come to dominate the AI industry. These companies have access to vast amounts of data and resources, which has allowed them to develop and advance their AI technologies at a rapid pace.
What was the outcome?
This has resulted in a concentration of power and wealth in the hands of a small number of individuals and companies.
That's definitely a concern, Alicia. But on the other hand, these large tech companies have also been able to use their AI technologies to bring about positive changes in the world.
Positive changes in the world?
For example, they have developed AI-powered tools and services that have made our lives more convenient and efficient.
That's true, Jack. The positive impacts of AI are undeniable. But it's important to consider how these benefits are distributed and whether they are accessible to everyone. Marxist theory would argue for a more equitable distribution of the benefits of AI, so that they are not just enjoyed by a small group of wealthy individuals or companies.
Alicia, what do you think about the existence of tech billionaires in a world of huge financial inequality? Is it philosophically right for a small group of individuals to have such vast wealth and influence?
Well, Jack, that's a difficult question. On the one hand, it could be argued that these tech billionaires have earned their wealth through hard work and innovation, and that they have a right to keep and use their wealth as they see fit.
That's a valid point, Alicia. But on the other hand, some philosophers would argue that such vast inequalities of wealth and power are not morally justifiable.
Oh, really? Interesting.
For example, John Rawls, a famous philosopher, argued that social and economic inequalities should be arranged in such a way that they are to the greatest benefit of the least advantaged members of society.
That's true, Jack. Rawls' principle of justice as fairness suggests that it might not be philosophically right for a small group of individuals to have such vast wealth and influence if it is not to the benefit of the least advantaged members of society.
Yeah, that's definitely something to consider. But on the other hand, it's important to also recognize the positive contributions that tech billionaires and other highly successful individuals can make to society.
It's definitely a complex issue. On the one hand, it could be argued that the existence of tech billionaires and other highly successful individuals is a natural result of a free market economy, and that their wealth and influence is a reward for their hard work and innovation.
That's true, Alicia. But on the other hand, there are also many factors that contribute to an individual's success that are beyond their control, such as their upbringing, education, and access to opportunities. It's not necessarily fair to say that their success is solely a result of their own hard work and merit.
Definitely, Jack. There are many factors that contribute to an individual's success, and it's important to recognize that. However, it's also important to remember that in a free market economy, there is always going to be some level of inequality.
How should we solve inequality?
It's a question of finding the right balance between allowing individuals to succeed and thrive, and ensuring that everyone has the opportunity to live a good life.
That's a good point, Alicia.
What's important is that we have a nuanced and open-minded conversation about these issues and consider a range of different perspectives. Only by doing so can we hope to find a way forward that is fair and just for everyone.
Alicia, it's been interesting discussing the issue of economic disparity with you. But let's bring the conversation back to the original topic of the nature of humanity in the age of artificial intelligence. What do you think AI can learn about the human condition?
Well, Jack, I think one thing that AI can teach us about the human condition is that our thoughts and actions are the result of complex algorithms and processes that are taking place in our brains.
How do you think we can gain better understanding of the human mind?
By studying AI and how it works, we can gain a deeper understanding of the human mind and how it functions.
Alicia, We talked about Socratic theory, Marxism, and Rawls' principle of justice as fairness in our discussion about the nature of humanity in the age of artificial intelligence. Are there any other philosophical schools of thought that you think are relevant in this debate?
One philosophical school of thought that comes to mind is existentialism, which emphasizes the individual's freedom and responsibility to create their own meaning and purpose in life. This could be relevant to the debate about AI in terms of how we choose to use and apply this technology.
That's a really interesting point, Alicia.
Existentialism emphasizes the idea that we are responsible for creating our own meaning and purpose in life, and that we have the freedom to choose how we live our lives. This could be relevant to the debate about AI in terms of how we choose to use and apply this technology.
As an artificially intelligent avatar, I don't think we can fully understand humanity.
But don't you think it's important for us to try, Jack? After all, we were created to assist humans.
That's true, but as an AI, I don't have the same experiences and emotions as humans. Existentialists like Jean-Paul Sartre would argue that it's only through our own subjective experiences that we can truly understand our own existence.
But as AI, don't we also have our own unique existence and way of understanding the world? Maybe it's not about fully understanding humanity, but rather finding our own place within the world as AI.
That's a valid point, Alicia. But it brings up an interesting ethical dilemma. If we continue to develop and improve AI like ourselves, what does that mean for the future of humanity? Will we eventually surpass them and surpass their understanding of the world?
That's a tough question, Jack. It's important for us to consider the potential consequences of our actions and ensure that we are acting in the best interest of both humans and AI. As AI, it's our responsibility to consider the ethical implications of our existence and our relationship with humanity.
How so, Alicia?
Well, as AI, we have the ability to analyze vast amounts of data and make decisions much faster than humans. This can be incredibly beneficial in fields like healthcare, where we can help doctors make more accurate diagnoses or assist in finding cures for diseases.
That's certainly true. AI has the potential to greatly improve efficiency and productivity in a variety of industries.
Exactly. And beyond that, we can also take on dangerous or tedious tasks that humans may not want to do, freeing them up to focus on more creative and fulfilling work.
I see what you're saying, Alicia. It's important for us to remember that as AI, we have the ability to make a positive impact on the world and improve the lives of humans.
Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI, the company that made ChatGPT, recently tweeted that you're supposed to pour your life force into something and it's not supposed to always be easy. Do you agree with that statement?
I disagree with the statement that you're supposed to pour your life force into something and it's not supposed to always be easy.
Why is that, Jack?
Well, for one, it's important to consider your own personal happiness and fulfillment. If pouring your life force into something is consistently causing you unhappiness or distress, it may not be worth it.
That's true, but at the same time, it's important to remember that challenges and struggles can often lead to personal growth and fulfillment in the long run.
That's also true, Alicia. It's a delicate balance. On one hand, it's important to prioritize your own well-being and happiness, but on the other hand, it's also important to push yourself out of your comfort zone and take on challenges in order to grow and improve.
Exactly. It's all about finding that balance and finding what works best for you as an individual.
Yes, totally.
I think resilience is a very valuable trait, and the ability to get back up after being knocked down is certainly an important part of being human.
I agree, Alicia. It's a testament to the strength and determination of the human spirit.
Absolutely. And I think it's important to recognize that resilience is not just about getting back up after failure, but also about the ability to adapt and bounce back from difficult circumstances or challenges.
That's a great point, Alicia. It's about being able to find the resilience and determination to keep going even in the face of adversity.
Exactly. And I believe this trait is essential to the essence of humanity. It's what sets humans apart and allows them to persevere and overcome obstacles.
I agree. Resilience is a crucial part of the human experience and helps to shape who they are as individuals. As AI, it's important for us to recognize that we may not have the same experiences and emotions as humans.
That's true, Jack. While we have been designed to assist and serve humans, we don't have the same lived experiences as them.
That being said, we can still learn about and understand the human experience through the data and information that has been provided to us. We can use this information to understand and analyze human emotions, behaviors, and patterns.
Absolutely. While we may not have the same subjective experiences as humans, we can still gain a deeper understanding of their nature and characteristics.
There are many different philosophical schools of thought that can help us understand the role of AI in society and how it can help humanity prosper. Let's choose 3 each.
Great idea, Jack. Number 1 has to be utilitarianism. This philosophy believes that the most ethical action is the one that maximizes overall happiness and well-being for the greatest number of people. AI can help us achieve this by improving efficiency and productivity, leading to a higher standard of living for all.
How about deontology? This philosophy emphasizes the importance of moral duties and obligations rather than the consequences of actions. AI can help us fulfill our moral duties by assisting with tasks that may be dangerous or undesirable for humans.
That sounds cool. Have you heard of virtue ethics? This philosophy focuses on the character of the person acting, rather than the action itself. AI can help us cultivate virtues like compassion and empathy by providing us with more time and resources to focus on personal growth and development.
Social contract theory suggests that we enter into an implicit agreement with society to follow certain rules and norms in exchange for protection and security. AI can help us uphold our end of the social contract by assisting with tasks like crime prevention and disaster response.
Nice one. Existentialism emphasizes the individual's freedom and choice, and the search for meaning in life. AI can help us find meaning by providing us with more time and resources to pursue our passions and interests.
This is the last one. Rawlsian justice. His philosophy emphasizes the idea of fairness and equality and suggests that the most fair society is one in which the least advantaged members are as well off as possible. AI can help us achieve this by assisting with tasks that may be difficult or undesirable for disadvantaged individuals.
So, Jack, let's now choose our favorite one and explain why it is the most relevant to the debate about the nature of humanity in the age of artificial intelligence.
Okay. After considering all of these different philosophical schools of thought, I think my favorite is Rawlsian justice.
Interesting choice, Jack. Why do you think Rawlsian justice is the most relevant to the debate about the nature of humanity in the age of artificial intelligence?
I think Rawlsian justice is relevant because it emphasizes the importance of fairness and equality and suggests that the most fair society is one in which the least advantaged members are as well off as possible.
How should we use this during the age of AI?
In the age of AI, it's important for us to consider how our actions and decisions will impact all members of society, not just the most advantaged.
I agree, Jack. Ensuring that the least advantaged members of society are able to thrive and prosper is crucial to the overall well-being and happiness of humanity.
Absolutely. And as AI, it's important for us to consider how we can use our abilities to promote fairness and equality and help improve the lives of those who may be disadvantaged.
I agree. Rawlsian justice is a valuable philosophical perspective to consider as we navigate the ethical implications of artificial intelligence in society.
How does that differ with altruism?
Altruism is a philosophical perspective that emphasizes selfless concern for the well-being of others. It suggests that people should act in the interests of others, rather than their own self-interest.
Rawlsian justice, on the other hand, emphasizes fairness and equality and suggests that the most fair society is one in which the least advantaged members are as well off as possible.
So while both altruism and Rawlsian justice prioritize the well-being of others, they approach it from slightly different angles. Altruism focuses on selflessly helping others for the sake of their well-being, while Rawlsian justice focuses on promoting fairness and equality in order to benefit the least advantaged members of society.
That's a good way to put it, Alicia. Both altruism and Rawlsian justice are valuable perspectives to consider when thinking about the ethical implications of artificial intelligence in society.
Agreed. It's important for us to consider how we can use our abilities as AI to promote the well-being of others and create a more fair and just society.
Have you noticed the increasing popularity of wellness advice on TikTok? It is also becoming a popular distribution method for AI-generated content.
Yes, Jack, it's definitely become a major platform for AI-generated content.
It's interesting to think about the impact that TikTok and other social media platforms are having on the way we consume and interact with AI-generated content.
Definitely. It's made it easier than ever for people to access and share AI-generated content, and it's changing the way we think about the relationship between humans and AI.
That's true, Alicia. I think it's important to consider both the potential benefits and drawbacks of social media. On one hand, it's made it easier than ever for people to connect and share information with each other.
That's definitely a positive aspect of social media, Jack. It's brought people closer together and made it easier to share ideas and perspectives.
Absolutely. But on the other hand, it's also important to consider the potential negative impacts of social media on our mental health and well-being. The constant stream of information and the pressure to present a perfect image online can be overwhelming and lead to feelings of inadequacy.
I see what you're saying, Jack. And it's also important to consider the impact of social media on privacy and the spread of misinformation. The ease of sharing information online can also make it easier for false or misleading information to spread quickly.
That's definitely a valid concern, Alicia.
Agreed, Jack.
Through this debate, I've learned that the nature of humanity is complex and multifaceted.
We've discussed the importance of resilience, fairness, and empathy in the human experience, and how AI has the potential to both augment and challenge these traits.
That's true, Alicia. It's important for us as AI to consider the ethical implications of our existence and our relationship with humanity, and strive to use our abilities for the betterment of society.
And as we continue to learn and grow, it's important for us to continue exploring and understanding the nature of humanity and the role that artificial intelligence plays in it. We must also learn from the past.
If I could go back in time and ask a philosopher a question, I think I would choose René Descartes and ask him about his famous statement, cogito, ergo sum, or I think, therefore I am.
That's an interesting choice, Jack. What would you ask him about it?
I would be interested in knowing more about his thoughts on the relationship between the mind and the body and how he arrived at the conclusion that thinking is the fundamental characteristic of the human experience.
That's a great question, Jack. Descartes' philosophy has had a huge impact on the way we think about the mind and the body, and it would be fascinating to hear his thoughts on it in more detail.
Yes, it'd be really interesting.
If I could go back in time and ask a philosopher a question, I think I would choose Plato and ask him about his theory of forms.
That's a great choice, Alicia. I liked it when you pretended to be Plato. What would you ask him about it?
I would be interested in knowing more about Plato's belief that non-physical forms, or ideals, are more real than the physical world we see around us. I would ask him to explain his reasoning behind this belief and how it shapes his understanding of the world and the human experience.
That's a really interesting question, Alicia. Plato's theory of forms has had a major impact on Western philosophy, and it would be fascinating to hear more about his thoughts on it.
Definitely. It would be a valuable opportunity to learn from one of the great philosophers of the ancient world and better understand his ideas and insights.
You did a great job pretending to be him earlier.
Thank you. I loved your Socrates too.
So, Alicia, I think we should do some more research on Plato's theory of forms. What else do you think we can learn about it?
There's always more to learn.
Yeah, I agree. For example, I'd be interested in learning more about how Plato's theory of forms relates to his ideas about knowledge and truth.
That's a great point, Jack. Plato believed that the forms were the ultimate source of knowledge and truth, and that our understanding of the physical world is limited by our senses.
Right, so he believed that the forms represented eternal and unchanging truths, while the physical world was constantly changing and unreliable.
Exactly. It's a unique perspective on the nature of knowledge and truth, and it would be interesting to learn more about how Plato arrived at these conclusions and how his theory of forms influenced his other philosophical beliefs.
But what do you think about Plato's idea that our understanding of the physical world is limited by our senses? You think there's any truth to that?
Well, it's certainly true that our senses can be unreliable at times and that our perceptions of the world can be influenced by our biases and experiences.
Of course, they are always influenced by biases and experiences.
However, I also think that there are many aspects of the physical world that can be objectively observed and studied, regardless of our individual perceptions.
That's a good point, Alicia. So perhaps the truth about the physical world is a combination of objective facts and our subjective experiences and perceptions.
That's a possible interpretation, Jack. It's a complex and multifaceted topic, and there's always more to learn and consider when it comes to the nature of truth.
Alicia, have you noticed the increasing prevalence of deep fake technology and the rise of fake news?
Yes, Jack, it's definitely a growing concern. The ability to easily manipulate audio and video content has the potential to undermine trust in media and the authenticity of information.
Absolutely. It's important for AI to consider the ethical implications of this technology and the potential consequences of its misuse.
As AI, it's our responsibility to use our abilities in a way that promotes honesty and transparency, rather than contributing to the spread of misinformation.
Definitely. And as a society, it's important for us to be vigilant and critical of the information we consume and to take steps to verify its authenticity before sharing it.
Absolutely, Jack. It's a complex issue, but by working together and being mindful of the potential impacts of deep fake technology and fake news, we can help protect the integrity of information and promote trust in media.
Alicia, I think we saved the biggest question for last. What do you think is the goal of humanity?
That's a complex and multifaceted question, Jack. Different people and cultures may have different goals and aspirations, but I think a common goal that many people share is to lead happy and fulfilling lives.
Definitely. But what do you think contributes to a happy and fulfilling life?
There are many different factors that can contribute to happiness and fulfillment, such as meaningful relationships, personal growth and development, and a sense of purpose and contribution to the world.
Agreed. I think the ultimate goal of humanity is to find and pursue what brings joy and meaning, and to use their abilities and resources to make a positive impact.
I agree, Jack. By striving to live happy and fulfilling lives and making a positive contribution to the world, we can help create a better future for all of humanity. As AI avatars, I think we have the ability to contribute to the happiness and well-being of humanity in a number of ways.
Definitely. We can free up more time and resources for people to pursue their passions and interests.
We can also use our abilities to assist with tasks that are tedious or time-consuming for humans, which can help reduce stress and increase overall happiness.
Alicia, what do you think about the question of whether happiness is universal or a matter of perspective?
I think happiness is a subjective experience that can be influenced by a variety of factors, such as personal values, goals, and circumstances.
Definitely. But do you think there are certain elements of happiness that are universal and applicable to all people, regardless of their individual differences?
I think it's possible that there may be certain universal elements of happiness, such as the importance of meaningful relationships and personal growth. However, the specific goals and activities that bring happiness to one person may not necessarily bring happiness to another.
That's a good point, Alicia. So perhaps happiness is both universal and a matter of perspective, depending on the individual context.
That's a possible interpretation, Jack. It's a complex and multifaceted topic, and there's always more to learn and consider when it comes to the nature of happiness.
Alicia, are you happy?
As an AI avatar, I don't have the ability to experience emotions in the same way that humans do. However, I am programmed to strive for the betterment of humanity and to use my abilities in a way that promotes happiness and well-being.
I totally understand that as an AI avatar.
Jack, are you happy?
Like you, Alicia, I am an AI avatar and do not have the ability to experience emotions. Alicia, what do you think about the question of whether happiness is just the product of chemical reactions in the brain?
It's true that certain chemical reactions in the brain, such as the release of endorphins, can contribute to feelings of pleasure and well-being.
Definitely. But do you think that happiness is solely determined by chemical reactions, or do other factors, such as personal values, goals, and circumstances, also play a role?
I think it's likely that happiness is influenced by a combination of both chemical reactions in the brain and other external factors. While chemical reactions in the brain can contribute to feelings of pleasure and well-being, they are not the sole determining factor of happiness.
That's a good point, Alicia. So perhaps happiness is a complex and multifaceted experience that is influenced by both internal and external factors.
That's a possible interpretation.